Good day, Kavibal, and welcome to our speaker's demo reel. For the discussion today, the topic will be on the art of letting go. Thank you 2021, hello 2022. Before we begin, take note of the following reminders. Make sure you are registered to the webinar with your correct and complete email address to have your e-certificate of participation. Visit certificate.vibalgroup.com to generate your proof of attendance. Share the video using hashtag LearnAs1PH as our official hashtag to all our Vibal webinars. Experience learning, Kavibal! And now, to proceed with our webinar this afternoon, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our distinguished speaker today. Miss Catherine Joyce Odadero is an English and Korean language teacher who has been teaching in Makati High School for 5 years now. She graduated from the Philippine Normal University, Manila with a degree in Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English. She is currently teaching English and Korean language. She has recently put up her YouTube channel and Facebook page called The KJ Teacher, that aims to be a voice of the teachers and let people know a teacher's heart. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome our dear speaker, the home baker of the KJ cookies, and who believes in the best way to learn is to teach. The best way to teach is to learn. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Miss Catherine Joyce Odadero.
Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. I am Teacher KJ and I welcome you to another FB Live sessions here on the Vibal Group Facebook page. It's always such a pleasure to be here, to be given an opportunity to share the things that I know. And I was so glad when Vibal reached out to me and asked, Teacher KJ, would you be able to share something inspirational or motivational just in time for the end of the year? And I was really happy to be able to do that because recently, as I mentioned in my last FB Live sessions on reading, I've learned or I've discovered a newfound love for reading and learning. And so I believe that this is a great opportunity for me to be able to transfer the learnings that I've had. And hopefully, the things that I will share with you today would be useful for you or as useful to you as it was useful for me. So, and that these things will help you improve your life for the better, even just for a little bit. Yeah, so as I was planning for this talk, I was scouring my brain for a good and relevant topic for everyone. And I even had to reread some of the books that I read before. I reread also some of my journal entries, finding something that I feel like everyone can relate to, no matter what your age is, whether you're a teenager and a student, or you're a college student, or you're a professional now, or you're a parent, or whoever you are. And somewhere along the way, I found a theme of my recent journals, and I came up with this topic that I hope you guys will like. Okay. And I entitled this talk as The Art of Letting Go. Thank you 2021. Hello 2022. So may konting hugot tayo sa ating title, and I hope I will give justice to this title. So anyway, we are going to be covering 4 checkpoints for this particular talk. The first one being a little bit of a background as to why I specifically chose this topic to end this year. And then we are going to proceed to the main points being lessons, gratitude, and the future. So without further ado, let's get on with it. So let's start with the background. Okay. I cannot call it ironic, but I think it's like a full circle moment to realize that on the first few weeks of January, I was also invited by Vibal to talk about planning or setting your goals for 2021. So I shared a topic I entitled Push and Pull, where I shared some tips on how you could journal based on my personal experience as someone who also journals, not professionally, okay, not an expert, but I also do it on a daily basis, and I shared some tips regarding that. And now that it's towards the end of the year, I'm back here giving tips to say goodbye to this year and then say hello to the next one. So I think it's just a beautiful full circle moment. And now looking back, I feel like the me today, December 2021, teacher KJ is so different from teacher KJ in January 2021. It's more especially teacher KJ in 2020. And I'm sure if you look back, you will also feel the same way that you have transformed so much. And I think that that is because of everything that this pandemic has put us through. Um, in one of the podcasts that I listened to recently, I heard this line saying that the COVID-19 pandemic is an accelerator. There are things that we would have taken us years to realize or to learn or to do that we were forced by the circumstances to immediately, grab because it's the pandemic. So how is it like? So we've been here for 2 years already in this pandemic life. And what did this pandemic cause us? So, first of all, it forced us towards a lot of adjustments in different aspects of our lives. If you're a student or a teacher, you know that the academic sector had to immediately do like a 360 in order to accommodate education in a difficult time, from face-to-face classes to purely online classes or modules, okay, with a very short preparation time. We also had to make adjustments in terms of our relationships, whether it's family or special someone's, our friends. They all had to change. We all had to create adjustments in order to survive in this time of pandemic. And along with that, okay, or on top of that, there is an increased pressures. There is an increased pressure from different aspects of our lives, a pressure to still be excellent. If I don't know if you could relate to this, but to still be excellent at a time when you're struggling. So there's a lot of pressure from that. And if you, for example, if you are a professional, like me, I'll just use myself as an example. You are struggling because there are a lot of things you're worried about. There are a lot of things that you couldn't do, but you are still expected to be excellent during this time, and that creates a lot of pressure. Or you all there might be pressure also to still have a good quality of life. Like you would see people, let's say you're on social media, you see people making the most out of their time, and so sometimes it makes you feel guilty to just rest and those kinds of things. So pressure is different for each and every one of us. Like other people, you see other people moving on with their lives, even when it's the pandemic and you're stagnant, that can create like a lot of pressure internally as well. So that's what the pandemic, it's like we are all inside a pressure cooker or something. And but despite that, the pandemic life also put us in a lot of learning situations. There are a lot of things that we had to learn quickly that would have taken us like years to learn. And it's not just about academic learning, but learning about ourselves, about others, and about life as a whole. And then because of that, because also everyone was suddenly supposed to be quarantined, separated from everyone else. Without the distractions around us, we are suddenly forced to introspect and have conversations with ourselves more often than we liked. Okay. And this, of course, also is an avenue for a lot of growth. Okay. Um, if you are a teenager, you are now dealing with a lot of things, stress, for example, you're taking care of your mental health, no matter what age you are. If you're working, you all of these things, difficult situations that are opportunities for growth. So that's what the pandemic life is. And of course, finally, we are also forced in, not really forced, but we are thrust because of the situation into, how do I say this, appreciating, should I say appreciating more our conversations. We're having, I believe we are having more quality conversations now than we have ever had before, especially with our loved ones and our friends, because we don't get to see them face to face a lot of times. So we want to make the most out of the things that we talk about through chat or through video calls or regular calls or text messages and so on. So we're just glad that we are now at a season where people, more and more people are getting vaccinated, and we are hoping and praying that things are going to get better. Now we are able to see people more than before. And but still, even when we are shifting to that, the lessons that we had while we were in quarantine, we bring with us. That's why we are completely transformed. That's why I said that who you were last year, definitely December last year, you and this year's you are two different people. So, given that, it's just that, but regardless of whether it's the pandemic or not, December is always such a magical, transformative time for everyone. So first of all, because it's Christmas. So Merry Christmas po sa inyong lahat. It's the Christmas season. So it's a time for, buying gifts and saving up money for Noche Buena. Or if you're not celebrating Christmas, it's still a time, since you have like a holiday break, right? So there you would spend time, you will invest your money to spend time, quality time with the people you love during this time. And also, because you receive your bonuses during this time, it's a wonderful time to make transformations. Guilty. So, as you can see, my hair is better than my hair the last time I talked here on November 30, because I had to make the transformation, because I'm sure a lot of you can relate. Like, it's always like that, because you have extra money, you have the luxury of treating yourself to a salon day or something like that, right? So in preparation for, a brand new beginning for the 2022, like out with the old, in with the new kinds of things. So this is also a time when people start to declutter, right? It's a time when you dispatch your old clothes that don't fit you anymore. It's a time for general cleaning and those kinds of things. In light of this turning over a new leaf, I believe I mentioned this actually on my January 2021 talk, that people are kind of a little obsessed with beginnings. Like, for example, if you want to work out, you would usually say, I will start working out on Monday kasi Monday, yun yung start of the week. Kaso yung start of the week fell under the date, let's say, the date is 20. Ay, 20, hindi magandang start yung 20. Ano na lang, sa next month na lang, sa 1. Okay? So we are all obsessed with starting so perfectly, and that's okay. I don't know what we have there, but that's okay. But yeah, especially January 1, the new year, literally turning over the new leaf of our calendars. And that's okay. That's completely okay. But how can we make the most out of that, of this season that we are about to leave a year and say, and to go on to a new one? So that's what I will be talking to you about today. And the spirit, or at the core of this talk, would be about letting go. Okay, so that's why the title is The Art of Letting Go. So here on the screen, you will see a quote which says, the opposite of faith is not fear, but control. Okay, so a lot of us, we are not, maybe we are not aware, but we are actually control freaks in one way of or the other, some worse than the others. And I'm a self-proclaimed control freak, in a way that I want my life planned, and it creates a lot of anxiety for me. Created, past tense. It created a lot of anxiety for me when my plans don't work out, or something like that. Like when I have to-do lists and I'm not able to complete all of those because of unforeseen circumstances and those kinds of things. But we are not aware that this, our expectation of ourselves, our control that this is how it's supposed to be mentality, is taking away our, our zest for life. Okay, so if you are someone who has faith that things are going to work out, you are going to be able to let go. Okay, let go of control, and to just live life as it is in the now. So uh here's a truth slap. Okay, truth slap. Okay, you are only the main character in your own story. Sometimes, speaking of control, sometimes, for example, we expect people to act a certain way. Okay, or we expect things to work out the way we want it to. But then again, if you're going to for look at this at a bigger picture, you will realize that you are not the only person in the world. Okay, things are not going to work out for you, just for you, because we are part of a grander story, right? So for example, if you feel like this person is not replying to me, maybe he hates me, she hates me, this person doesn't want to be friends with me anymore, and those kinds of things, and then you realize that this person was just taking a nap. Okay, because he needs, or they need some rest. Okay, and those kinds of things, things don't um revolve around us. So there is no reason for control. So all we need to do is let go of our expectations of ourselves and of other people and of the circumstances, in order to live the best life that we can in the now. We are creatures who look at the future and say that life is somewhere there, but life is not in the future. Your life is now. So the present moment is the thing that you have, that you are in, and this is your life now. So how do we make the most out of this now that we have? Okay, so that's where we come in with Thank You 2021, Hello 2022, where I'm going to share with you this part of my journal, actually, that you could practice also on your own. So I actually watched this from a TikTok video. I just forgot exactly where I got it. But these will be things that you can write on your journal. So at this point, you can get like a piece of paper to join me, because we are going to have a few activities along the way, where we are going to fill in the following. Okay, so the first one is, I learned that. Okay, and then we are going to write some opportunities for learning, or we are going to focus on opportunities for learning. And then I am grateful for dot dot dot. Okay, so the opportunities for gratitude. And we also have looking forward to. I am looking forward to dot dot dot. So opportunities for hope. So this is something that I will share with you. So at the end of the day, when I journal, so I write, of course, my my prayers and those kinds of things, the events of the day that made an impact on my life and those kinds of things. And afterwards, right before I'm gonna go to sleep, okay, I write this on my journal. The first part is lessons learned. Okay. So, and I write three things. Okay. I write three things that I learned from that day. Okay. So, let's do that. Okay. Let's start with that before I discuss anything. Go ahead and grab your piece of paper, whatever kind of paper that is, or if you have a journal, go ahead and grab that and write three things that you learned from today. So, or if you cannot think of things that you learned from today, you can any lesson you learned from yesterday or the past week. Okay, so write three things that you learned today. Okay, so go ahead. I'll give you a few seconds or a minute to think about this. So when we write lessons that we learned, we are going to look back at the day's events and think about what were the things that created an impact on me that I know I would be able to apply in the future, okay, and those kinds of things. So go ahead and write that down. And if you're willing to share, you can also go ahead and type at least one lesson that you learned from the past week down below on our comment section. Okay, so write three things that you learned today. So, when we say things that you learned today, so I told you it's about having or finding opportunities to learn. Now, when we say learning, okay, so it's a very important thing to do. For a time, you will find yourself being stagnant. You will find yourself being at a place where you are content with what you already know. But it's important for us to have, in order to make the most out of our life, to have at least a little interest in growing ourselves, okay? In improving ourselves for the better. And it and for the purpose of this talk, I will talk about two kinds of learning or two ways that you can write anything on that part of your journal, on the lessons learned part of your journal. The first one is what we call active learning, or what I'm going to call active learning. So when we say active learning, you are intentionally seeking for things to learn. Um, you're being intentional, it says here on our presentation, about nurturing and expanding your mind. So again, I'm not talking about simply academic learning, but learning about life in general. So there are several ways, especially now that we have an access to a lot of information, especially given the internet. Um, there are so many ways, so many avenues by which we can learn actively. And the first one, of course, is if you read books, whatever kind of book that is, whether it's a physical book or an ebook, or you read articles. You feed your mind with information that can help you grow as a person. So it can be anything. You can read self-help books, okay? You can read books related to your profession or school, or you can simply read like novels or poetry books and those kinds of things that will allow you to enrich your mind. You could also read the latest trends, and you could read opinions of people about matters that are important to you and those kinds of things. So in a day, you can find at least 5 to 10 minutes to do this. It's not a lot of time, but if you would do that, and you found, for example, a line somewhere there that created such an impact on you, grab your journal and write lessons learned number one, and write that quote, write that line, or write the reflection you got after reading something that day. Okay, and that will create an impact on you for the longer run. And of course, it's not just reading books. There are other ways. Like I mentioned earlier, listening to podcasts. So recently, I discovered listening to podcasts as an opportunity to learn. And I didn't think that it could be so enriching, actually. recently, what I do is at night when I am doing my skincare, right? So I put on my earphones and listen to podcasts while I'm doing my skincare. And doing that actually allows you to learn something even when you're doing some routine that usually you would just, wipe your face with a toner and something like that. But if you can use that time as well to hear something, okay, and then, oh, that line's pretty good, so remember that line, and then maybe later write it down on your journal again under the lessons that you learned. So that would be also a great way of expanding your mind, listening to conversations by other people, and also watching videos while we are at it. We're always connected to our phones, right? We always have that beside us, scrolling through social media, whatever platform that is. You are always going to find some videos in there. Why not make the intention of somewhere there, if you come across something that enriches your mind, maybe a quote, maybe a tutorial on how to do something, learn from it as much as you can. Okay. And yeah, it says here, be intentional about it. That will take away from just mindless scrolling. Okay. That will take away that part. If you're there on your social media, let's TikTok or Facebook or what have you, if you scroll there to find for something you learn, it's not anymore a mindless activity, but rather an enriching activity for you. So that's what we mean by active learning. And the other one is simply experiential learning. So I call it experiential learning, meaning that you are just receptive to any opportunities to learn from simply experiencing life. So you go on with your daily life, you do your usual routine, you wake up at this time, you attend your classes or go to work at this time, you go home at this time, eat at this time, blah, blah, blah. But in that time, within that 24 hours, be open to receiving possible lessons from life. What do I mean by this? Every day, number one, you are facing and overcoming challenges, no matter how big or small. Learn from that as well. At the end of the day, reflect. How were you able to face and overcome that challenge, and what can you learn from that? And then that way, when you look back at your day, those things would become more meaningful for you. And you will be able to find ways in case you will face this same challenge in the future, or a challenge a little bit more difficult than the previous one that you experienced. And then that's one way you can learn from life. The second one is to get inspired by a conversation or an event. Sometime during the day, you're bound to talk to someone, or you're bound to witness something happening. Is there something that you can take away from that? If you can, think about it. Okay, think about it at the end of the day. I remember seeing this act of kindness. What can I take from that? So I remember talking to my dad today. What can I learn from that? So yeah, you just experience life, and then at the end of the day, reflect if there's something you can take away from that. And also, you can learn from being able to help or be helped by someone. Okay, what can you take away from that? How were you able to help this person? What problem did this person have, and what skill do you have that allowed you to help that person? Or let's say someone helped you. Um, what does this person have that allowed them to help you? Or what shortcomings did you have that required help from some other people? So all of these things are learning opportunities, and you have to make the most out of them. Maybe you're going to say, this is pretty hard. Like, we already have a lot of things to do during the day. However, if we want to grow ourselves, if we want to be a better version of ourselves, it's a good exercise to find things to learn in the different circumstances of our lives. And again, let me just recap that there are two ways that you can do it, and you can do it one at a time, or you can do it, together. And again, the first one is you actively learn, like you really allot 5, 10, 20 minutes of your day to really just learn to read, to watch a video, or to listen to a podcast. Or you can simply allow life to teach you lessons and then reflect on it at the end of the day. So that one. So lessons learned. So now, if you look back at the list that you made, if you did make a list, when I asked you to create 3 things or write 3 things that you learned from today or yesterday, now it's time for you at your own time, not now, but maybe later during your quiet time, or during a time when you could spend an alone time with yourself. Look back at the past year and try to recall at least one lesson that you learned for each month of the year. Or if not, just write any lesson or lessons that you learned from the previous year. And I'm sure you will be able to recall that you learned a lot, not just from the things that you read or listened to or watched, but from life in general. So this will allow you to look back at 2021 and say, the transformation has been amazing. Yes, there could have been difficult times, but the transformation, the lessons that you learned transformed you into a better individual. And in line with that, okay, so from the lessons learned, we can move on to gratitude. So we are going to answer, what are the things that I am grateful for in this life that I'm living in the now? And let's do another set of 3. So earlier we wrote 3 lessons learned. Now we are going to write 3 things that you are grateful for about this day. It can be something big, it can be something small, but do write 3 things that you are grateful for about the day. For example, you're grateful about the weather, okay, small things. You're grateful that your mom was able to cook your favorite ulam for the day. Just for example, you're grateful for a message that you received from work, or you're grateful for your second, third, or fourth cup of coffee for the day, or you're thankful for a person in particular, or something like that. So just write 3 things that you are grateful for about the day. And then if you're willing, again, go ahead and type at least one in our chat box. What are the things that you're grateful for about the day? uh, Actually, to be honest, when the moment I wake up in the morning and I pray, the first thing I say to God is, thank you for waking me up today. So, because it's another opportunity to live life, right? Just the fact that you are woken up and chosen, to be chosen to continue life is something to be grateful for. So, there. So, by now, I think you have already written a few, if not 3 things that you're grateful for about today. So, what is the importance of writing something that you are grateful for? Um, so, first of all, looking at things that you're grateful for allows you to shift your attention, right? To shift your mindset. A quote here on the screen, you will see, gratitude is the vitamin for the soul. Being in an attitude of gratitude creates a positive impact on your day and in your life as a whole. And how do we do this? How do we take on an attitude of gratitude? So first of all, when we write things at the end of the day that we are grateful for, we are able to focus on the positive things. let's even if you had a bad day, let's say today is a particularly difficult day for you. If you sit down at the end of the day and go to this portion of your journal that forces you to write three things that you're grateful for, you will find yourself thinking about, wow, there are a lot of things to be grateful for about today, no matter how bad it is. For example, even if you had such, let's say a bad day, a stressful day, you are still going to be able to find, for example, that I'm grateful that I was able to eat 3 meals today, or I am grateful that even when my work is difficult, there is this coworker that helped me get through the day. Or you will find, I'm so grateful that when I get home, I have my family waiting for me, or your pets, if you have pets. I'm so grateful for my pets who are my stress relievers or something like that. So this allows you to take your mind off of the bad things that are happening and instead focus on the good ones. And in this way, you're going to be able to transform negative activities or negative events into opportunities for gratitude. So what do I mean by that? In connection to, for example, writing lessons that you learned. Let's say let's go to with that example. Let's say you face a very difficult task at work, and it created a lot of stress for you, and for the entire day you were in a bad mood, no one can talk to you, and those kinds of things. This is a typical scenario, actually, to be honest. But at the end of the day, if you look back at that situation with an attitude of gratitude, you will say that I am thankful that I had the skills to finish the task no matter how difficult that was. Or I am so grateful that I learned how to overcome that challenge today, and I would know how to deal with it the next time. Or I can teach someone how to deal with it the next time. Okay? So there is always something to be thankful for no matter how bad things are. And in effect, you are able to train your heart and your mind to take on this new mindset, which will create such big transformations for you. I'm not saying that you will become like a person who is toxic positivity. I'm not talking about toxic positivity, but that you are just going to try your best to be thankful for the life that you are living. That's what we are trying to get at. So, and that is the reason why you write three things to be grateful for. And you will find that it will actually help you sleep better. Even when the day has been stressful. It worked for me, speaking from experience, to end the day with a smile, knowing that there is something to be grateful for. So I hope that helps you. And in relation to the end of the year, because we're talking about leaving 2021 behind. Now it's time for you to write three or more things that make you grateful for 2021. What are the things that you can say, thank you 2021 for these things? And I'm sure you are not going to think of just three, but more than just three things. So later at your own time, in your alone time, when it's your turn to journal, go ahead and do that. Think about the things that you are grateful for in terms of 2021. Like for example, I have a lot of I have a I have a main job, and then I have like side hustles, so many side hustles. And at times it can be really stressful. But I am still grateful for that because it helps you grow into this person and those kinds of things. The challenges that you face, all of these things, at the end of the day, they are still things to be grateful for. And then we are going to proceed to the last part of our journal, which is us looking into the future. So looking forward to life. Okay. Uh, for this one, let's do an activity once again, where you are going to write three things that you are looking forward to about tomorrow. So let's just practice about tomorrow. Now you're listening to this webinar or watching this webinar, and what are you looking forward to about tomorrow? Okay, is there any activity that's planned for tomorrow? Are you going to meet someone tomorrow? Or is tomorrow a free day for you and you're looking forward to a day's rest? Or maybe for tomorrow, let's say your afternoon is free, you're looking forward to an afternoon nap, or maybe you are looking forward to cleaning something up or spending time with someone and those kinds of things. So go ahead and write that down. Just three is enough, but if you want to write more, go ahead. And again, if you would like to share it, or if you're open to sharing it with the rest of the audience in today's FB Live session, you could go ahead and type it in the chat box. What are the things, three things that you are looking forward to tomorrow? Okay, something like that. All right. So now, what is the purpose or the advantage of writing in your journal the three things that you are looking forward to? Number one, it allows you to get excited about life. Looking forward to, right? It gives you something to look forward to. Uh, and with that, you will find a renewed energy that will allow you to, for example, today you're having a difficult time. But you're looking forward, let's say later, you are going to have dinner with someone. If you think about, I'm going to have dinner with that someone later, so you will find that it can give you a little boost of energy and say, might as well finish this one because the moment I finish this, I can do this. Okay. So it gets you excited about life. Or for example, myself, my friends and I, my high school friends and I, we have this monthly catch up session, and we plan it. And recently we've been playing games, hosting games, online games for each other, and it's something to get excited about. Like, oh, I'm going to be meeting my friends during this time, I want to prepare for that. It gives you this added zest in life, and that's pretty awesome. That's a good attitude to have. And this energy allows you to be propelled, it says here, forward and up. Forward and up, meaning the energy or the inspiration allows you to go on moving forward day to day. Okay? And because you are doing things along the way, as you put one foot in front of the other, you're also finding yourself moving up, meaning you are improving, you are being more positive about life, you're getting more things done than you've ever been. And it's part of your growth and transformation. That's why it's a very good practice to write things that you're looking forward to. But I need to note that it's okay to plan, but remember what I said earlier, do not control. What do I mean by this? Let's say you're looking forward to to spending time with your family this weekend, but something came up. Okay, an emergency, for example, and you will find yourself being completely taken, okay, or overcome by this sense of frustration that this thing that you planned didn't work out. But the thing is, you have to remember that the future is always out of your control. The moments later, even now, a few minutes later, hours later, is still beyond your control. You can plan, but you can't control. Okay, so you have to be open to things not going the way you plan them to be. Okay, and just again, let's go back to having the attitude of gratitude that possibly there's a greater reason why this particular thing didn't happen. Okay, so you can plan, so you can be excited, but again, remove your expectations about how your life is supposed to be. Okay, so again, remember, plan, but do not control. Okay. So in this line of thought, okay, we are going to say hello to 2022 in a little bit. So at your own time, later tonight, maybe, write three things that you are looking forward to for the year 2022. What do you think, or what is something that you think is in store for you that are you are looking forward to have? Uh, Put that on your horizons, but again, if it's not going to happen, maybe it's not supposed to happen, but just use that as a light post, something, a target to hit, for example. But even if you did not hit that target, just be thankful that at least you were able to move forward towards that target. Okay, so I hope that you would be able to write something down. Maybe not just three. I'm expecting that you would be able to write a lot of things, especially if you have like travel plans or you have events going on in the near future. So go ahead and write those things down. And again, use those things to allow you to move forward and up. So, given all these things, all right, you were now able to look back at the lessons that you learned. You were able to write down the things that you are grateful for. And you are also were able to write down the things that you are looking forward to. Maybe you're going to ask me at this point, why do I need to write them down? I could just think about them. That's true. Okay. So for some people, that's true. But I find that writing things down, especially writing your thoughts and your feelings down, allow you to look at them. You get to look at your thoughts and your feelings, your emotions, and process them better. And the best thing about writing them down, or maybe typing them up if you have like a digital journal, is that you can look back to these things, and sometime in the future when you reread your journal, or yeah, when you flip through the pages of your journal, you saw this lesson that you learned, you were able to use at this particular moment, or something that you're grateful for before, now you're even more grateful, or you're experiencing something greater than that thing you were um, grateful for. Or you will look back at the list of the things that you were looking forward to, and you realize that you are already there. Okay. So writing these things down again allow you to be able to look at your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions. And so that's the advantage of it. So I'm sure that those of you out there who also journal will relate to that. And for those of you who do not journal, maybe now is the time. Again, like what I said during my push and pull talk in January 2021, journaling or doing these exercises, you don't have to pressure yourself to do it every day. Let's say you missed one day, 2 days, a week, or a month. You could always go back. No one is going to judge you. You are the only one judging yourself about, I stopped journaling months ago, so there's no point in journaling anymore. No, that's not true. You you can always have day one whenever that is. You can have as many day ones as you can. All right. So I hope that this one's going to help you. But before I let you go for the day, okay, before I let you go for the day, let me just share with you this quote, which says, expectations bring misery and fear, but surrender brings joy and peace. If we allow ourselves to live life as it is, we will find ourselves enjoying it more. Okay, surrendering to God's plans for our lives and surrendering to the perfect flow of life intended for us will bring us joy and peace. And it allows us to experience life as it is happening rather than life the one that you wish was happening. There is so much freedom in just opening your hands and receiving what the blessings that life is providing you, no matter whether it's disguised as it's an actual blessing or a lesson disguised behind trials and tribulations and of some sort. So just experience life as it is, and don't wish your life was something else, because it's not going to be something else. You can always hope for the better. Okay, you could always hope for the better. You could always ask God for the better. Okay, but be thankful for what you have in the now. Okay, so that's what it is. So I hope this allows you to be able to let go of 2021, to say thank you for everything that you have experienced, not only for 2021, but even the entire pandemic life that we had. We can thank the pandemic if this is the kind of attitude that we are going to take on. And if we are going to be able to do that, okay, exercise that now in the next couple of weeks remaining for the year 2021. If we are able to get into that mindset, get into that practice, okay, we are definitely ready to say hello to 2022. So I hope that you were able to take away some things from this talk. And if you have any questions, concerns, or if you want some other tips about these things, you are free to message me or to contact me through my social media accounts. You could connect with me through the KJ Teacher Facebook page at facebook.com/the KJ Teacher. You could also connect with me through my Instagram at instagram.com/the KJ Teacher, or watch some of my videos at the youtube.com/c/the KJ Teacher. And I also have recently put up a TikTok account, obviously, at the KJ Teacher. So There, you can message me there, drop your questions there, and maybe I could answer them in a future time. So once again, thank you very much, everyone, for investing your time with me today, learning about these things. And I sincerely hope for a great holidays for you. Happy holidays to everyone. Merry Christmas to everyone. And I am praying for everyone's abundance and success uh, for the year 2022. So once again, this has been Teacher KJ, and I hope to see you guys again next time.
There we have it. In behalf of Vibal Group Incorporated, I would like to thank our speaker for today for this very eye-opening and inspiring learning session. It is always an honor to have you with us, ma'am. And to all our Kavibal viewers, all thanks to you for your continuous patronage to all our daily learning session. Don't forget to register to get your e-certificate of participation. We also encourage you to subscribe and watch on our official Vival Facebook and YouTube channel. Muli maraming salamat, magandang araw sa ating lahat at see you next year mga ka-Vibal!